12:02 in Edmonton. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're enjoying your Friday despite the gloomy weather. Call it pre-fall. I hate that saying. I heard it on Instagram the other day. It's still summer. We're here together. We're here to warm up your day. Tom Gazzola, Reed Wilkins with you on the oil stream. Brought to you as always by Boston Pizza. Check out their summer feature menu. Cherry cola beef sliders, Cajun chicken Caesar wrap, sweet heat chicken sandwich, the fish tacos, the pizza flight, summer pesto chicken, and the new fish and chips. I am a big fan of the cherry cola beef sliders, but for some it might be an acquired taste. Reed, you and I have discussed because not everybody loves cherry cola, the flavor.
Right. Cherry cola is a good flavor.
I think so,
I don't know
too.
if I've had it recently.
It's very much the same as how it was back then. The last time you had
back
it.
then. I can't remember the last time I had it.
Maybe a month ago. Maybe 6 months ago.
It's been probably years since I had
Maybe
cherry
4
cola.
years
I'm
ago.
not a big pop drinker.
Neither
not a
am
big
I.
soda pop drinker.
Same.
I remember when I was in Vegas, there's a Coke store there, and you can sample Coke flavors from around the world.
Yep.
And you get like this little tray of 16, I think it was 16, and they have, just a splash of pop in each one.
Yes.
A couple of them were horrid, like toothpaste tasting.
Ugh.
Yeah, I was like,
Like,
who
is there
would
like
ever
a
drink
mint?
that? But I guess, one was sort of minty or something like that.
That's not good.
And after a while, you kind of start losing the ability to taste them. But
Yeah.
no, the cherry cola as a like a sauce or a garnish or whatever can be quite good. I can't remember the last time I've had that, but I think I have had cherry cola ribs or something that was pretty good.
It's a lot along the lines of like a Dr. Pepper flavored sauce or inspired type of flavor for a food item,
Right.
if you will.
Yeah. What do you say? This is pre-fall?
Somebody said pre-fall on
calls it
Instagram, and I'm like, oh, gross.
Yeah. Well, today is gross.
It feels like that.
Today is gross, and it's getting darker earlier. I know we still have a lot of daylight.
Yeah,
and most parts of the world don't get the long days like we do, so they wouldn't think. But yeah, you can start to feel a little bit of a shift here.
Yeah.
But there'll still be some nice days, and I think the weekend's going to be nice. I think today is kind of
so.
gross, and then doesn't it get better? Whereas thank goodness I have a weather app on my phone.
Tell me about the weather, because today I'll be
Says
marching along the sidelines.
22 tomorrow with maybe rain. 23 Sunday. That's pretty good. 25 Monday, Tuesday. 22 Wednesday and Thursday. So not too bad after today and maybe a little bit of tomorrow. So
Okay.
that's all right.
Yeah, that's
Don't
all
mind
right.
that.
We can survive that.
Yeah.
I did have to close the windows of my condo today slightly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I like to leave them open unless it's too hot, then you get the air conditioning going. But today I was like, it's a bit chilly in here. So I just slightly closed them.
Do you have air conditioning?
Yes, sir.
You do. Yeah, you're lucky.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
My furnace came on yesterday morning briefly.
Oh, you just leave it on automatic? I have one of those Nests so I can control it on my phone.
Oh, mine's not like that.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. But yeah, mine's on. But I don't like my house hot.
Same.
So even in the winter, my temperature is lower than probably a lot of people
What do you
would
get?
have it.
What do you have it at?
Like 21.
I like 21 at my old place, which had carpet. I also had a gas fireplace at my old one.
Oh, yeah.
Then I bought this one, and it's all like curtain wall windows, I think it's called.
Okay.
And I think and it's hardwood instead of, I don't have carpet. I have throw rugs or whatever, but the heat doesn't stay in. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
As much. So I put my thermostat to like 22 in the winter.
Okay. Yeah, that's too hot.
By 1 degree. Basically, what we're getting at here is we're creeping towards hockey season. And this is a hockey show. We'll talk a little bit about other stuff. You're going to a football game tonight, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it. Well, I love going to the games. And hopefully, I think this is... I've been pretty honest about my thoughts on the Elks all year. And it's not because I don't want them to do well, but you know what I kept saying? It's like, well, until they win,
Show
I'm not
us.
going to start thinking that they, I was always kind of pushing back on optimism just because I'd be like, okay, no, I want them to win, but what are you basing that on? Like, oh, well, they're going to do this. I'd be like, well, they haven't done that though, so why
True.
do you think they're going to start doing it? Now, there was was a pretty good performance against Hamilton all around.
Yep.
Hamilton's, the hottest team in the league. Well, I guess they lost in overtime, but they've been outstanding lately. And, it wasn't always pretty against Montreal, but at least they figured it out. And David Beer was on our show earlier this week and said, when you win, you spend more time focusing or remembering what you accomplished because he was like, I've had games where I missed a block or something and we lose and I spend the entire week thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hopefully a different vibe. I do think Fajardo's presence at quarterback has been very good. Clearly there's some things they have to clean up. They give up too many sacks. Hopefully they can run the ball tonight.
Well,
they abandoned it against Montreal and Beard said Montreal was giving us that long pass play to the outside.
And they took it.
So they kept taking it, and there's ways to get Rankin the ball without handing it to him.
Which they did.
Which they need to keep doing,
yes.
But hopefully they can actually get some handoffs going tonight and start generating some yards that way.
Well, Toronto's defense is not very good. Neither is the Elks. But
there's been some
improvement
signs of, the Elks are trying not to give up the big play. They're making, not as bad over the top as it was going back to the first game of the season.
Fair.
They've kind of tried to limit that. I think the Elks are like, okay, we got to give up a short pass and get up and make a tackle. And if you're making a team do that 7 or 8 times in a row, maybe they mess up at some point and you get a stop. I think Toronto can still move the ball. Like they have a couple of the dangerous players. But I actually think the way the Elks are playing lately, they are favored, and I think they should be favored.
So do I.
And I think but they got to get out there and do it. They got to prove, okay, we're not going to rest on our laurels because we won one game, or we're not going to now we feel like we're at our potential. They got to get out there and do it again. There's still it's going to be extremely difficult, but there is still a path to the postseason. But that wasn't. You needed Ottawa to probably would have been better if Ottawa would have won last night. Because now
that was crazy. Well, you and I were watching those highlights before we hopped on here.
I saw till about it was. Well, I saw most of the first quarter, and then I went to a show last night.
Excellent.
And then at some point I got a very lengthy and excited text from my mother explaining the end of the game. And then I've watched the extended highlights. The CFL. I think this has been a great season. I think this is the best all-around season for the CFL in several years. The games are exciting. There's games that appear to be lopsided where, a team catches up. Like it's truly no lead is safe. It's truly decided in the final 3 minutes. Ottawa was down 17 points in the fourth.
Yep.
Tied it.
Yep.
And they were down 14 points at the 3-minute warning. And
that
still
is correct.
Tied it. There's been some dramatic kick return touchdowns all around the league this year. I think we've seen a bounce back from the lost season coming out of COVID. That wasn't a very good year.
No, sloppy.
All around. And I just feel that there might be mismatches on paper, and certainly teams like Saskatchewan and Calgary and Hamilton have won most of the time, but they're not. There aren't a lot of absolute blowouts. Look at last week. Everything was decided in the final minute.
Was it a 4 or 5 points that all 4 games were decided by aggregate?
Oh yeah, that's
or combined.
Right. Yeah. I guess week 9. Yeah, Saskatchewan blew out Montreal. Ottawa kind of took it to Calgary, but most of the games are you're watching until the end.
Yes.
You feel like, okay, I got to keep watching here, which is good. It's nice to see.
Fantastic product. You are going to have a couple of football guests on the show this afternoon, correct?
Jeff Hecht.
Jeff Hecht?
Yeah, Jeff Hecht is coming in.
Okay.
We had him in before. He's a local guy, played in the CFL, played for the Bombers when they were starting to rise. Just interesting guy, outgoing guy.
Nice.
He won the Grey Cup in 2014 with Calgary and in 2019 with the Bombers.
Excellent.
So that was their first of the 5 consecutive appearances, right? Because they in 19, 21, and then they lost in 22, 23, 24.
Yep.
Yeah, so he was there for the start of their rise. He's a good guest. He'll be fun to have.
One thing that the CFL does not lack is characters, past and present. We had
True.
one of them on today, Taylor Inglis on the Hangout. He was excellent. Told some great stories. We'll have to obviously bring him back as well. So that'll be on the Reed Wilkins Show, Jeff Hecht. And then Dave in Section T says the brisket has hit the magic 203 Fahrenheit, wrapping them up for the cooler. Shall I bring you a bib, Tommy? Skip that media meal today. You won't regret it. I'll come and see you, Dave in Section T. I promise. It will be Dustin Nielson, Glenn Suter, myself, and Luke Wilson.
Oh, he's in
Friday
town. Okay.
Night Football tonight. So Dusty did his walk and talk video. I just reposted it. Bundle up. Hopefully the rain stays away. I know it's been in the forecast for the past couple of days. Just throw on a jacket and maybe a hoodie underneath or something like that, and stay warm. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I've packed for the. I brought because I'm going straight to my parents after the game. They live near the stadium, so
yes, they do.
I packed a bag with my rain gear and a hoodie, and even threw a toque and gloves in there just in case.
You're outside for a long time.
Yeah.
The weather in our province, as everybody knows, who's been here for a little bit of time, is aware it shifts very quickly and significantly.
And you might think, "Oh, I'll be too hot." No, you won't be. I learned this. This was probably in the mid '90s before we had seasons tickets. It was probably 90. Yeah, it probably was 96 because we had seasons tickets starting in 97. So I went with a Blockbuster buddy, and Flutie and McManus were on the team.
Ooh,
it might have even been that game where Flutie had like 18 receptions or whatever. And it was I think it was early October, and the temperature was like plus 5 or 6. And my buddy and I were like, "Oh, it's plus, great!" Mm-hmm. So we went with light jackets, and I think we had somebody brought a pair of gloves. And like by the middle of the second quarter, we're like, "Oh yeah." So we were like sharing the gloves. We would one guy would wear one glove, and then we'd switch, so put one hand in the pocket. So that was not a pleasant day. You're
just sitting there. The sun goes down. It gets cooler. It really be prepared. And so that is a good warning.
Yeah.
And that's actually how I had to teach my brother about Grey Cup. I went in 2010 when it was here. Fantastic. It was a little bit cooler, but the weather was still tolerable. Then in 2018, it started out as a plus day. It was like plus 3 or 4 in mid to late November. And then my brother was like, I'll be fine. He wore like a hoodie,
right?
An old Eskimos jersey, and a light pair of gloves and just some pants. I'm like, no, man, that's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
And I think at one point he finally grabbed a toque and he was shivering by halftime, and everyone else was like bundled up for winter weather, layers and heat gear or thermal underwear and stuff like that. And everyone was fine. I think I had an extra pair of gloves. I had doubled up my gloves, and I finally was just like, here, man, you need these more than I do. And he learned his lesson the hard way, but he completely, thinking the same thing you guys did back in 96 or 97, disregarded the weather and how cold it can get around here. And he learned a tough lesson that day, but he knows better now. And so bundle up tonight. It's, I believe, cowboy theme.
Oh, yeah. Are you wearing a cowboy hat?
I will not be wearing anything related to cowboy. I do not own anything cowboy related, nor will I wear anything cowboy related.
Well, what if you have to for the broadcast?
Then they shall provide it.
Okay. Well, I think
or I'll have to borrow from someone in the stands.
If I were producing the broadcast, and obviously I'm not, I would be, we have to have the sideline guy blend in.
That email has not arrived in my mailbox.
So I'd give you a cowboy hat. I'd give you chaps and spurs. And I'd give you a
something with
shooter.
Tassels. I'll take a 6-shooter. That's
tassel,
cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty badass.
But it would be a toy.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as it looks cool. Anyway.
You would look cool.
Elks and Argos tonight, 7 o'clock Friday Night Football. Catch the Green and Gold pregame show with Maddie and Milne at 6 following the Reed Wilkins show. And then after you're done watching the game, tune back in to the postgame show. The boys will be dishing it out just like they do at Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. We're inside the Popeye's studio here at EST. Check out the new chicken dippers, crispy, juicy, and made for dipping. Grab this limited time craveable snack and Popeye's signature sauce today. All right, text us 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well. We want to hear from you. We have been doing the bracket, the Whipping Boys bracket. Dusty's been leading the charge on this on his social media, and it's been interesting. I mean, I think there's been a lot of players that you could slide in as candidates. I think we went for the most loudest lightning rod type players that would get a lot of the attention. So as a reminder, these have been the 4, at least when I was going back through Dusty's timeline, that I picked up on. In the goalie region bracket, Koskinen versus Dubnyk. Koskinen won that vote, 56.1% to 43.9%. This is just on Twitter/X. I know he was doing it on our YouTube feed as well. Stu Skinner versus Jack Campbell. Skinner by a landslide, 70.6% to 29.4%. You and I will need to discuss something in regard to that matchup. You brought it up earlier when we were talking about this off air. In the defense region, we had Evan Bouchard against Tom Poti. This was closer than I thought it would be because I wasn't sure how many people would remember the Tom Poti era, and it was surprisingly brief in Edmonton. Bouchard won 52.7% to 47.3%. And then it was Darnell Nurse versus Justin Schultz, and I think Darnell Nurse, rightly so, won this one quite handily, 64.8% to 35.2%. So that was the defense region. Let's start with the goaltenders. We're going to do a review today. Reed, you've been around these goaltenders. You've covered this team for a long time. You've covered all four.
I covered all four goalies.
All four.
Yeah, Dubnyk not quite as much, but the other guys for sure.
But you got in there at the end of Doobie.
Yeah.
I was surprised that this one was as close as it was because I thought for sure that Mikko Koskinen would. I think I had Koskinen over 60%. Like if I were to guess how this result would come out, I would say Koskinen by a large margin because Dubnyk, as Dusty pointed out and educated YouTube Trev on, Dubnyk's numbers on really crappy teams were damn respectable.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, 43.9 via Twitter, still had Devon Dubnyk as a guy that was a whipping boy around here.
Yeah, I don't remember Dubnyk getting that criticized until 13-14 when he was, it's like, okay, he's really going to grab it. Had a good year in that lockout shortened season of 12-13. Like had a .921 save percentage. They flirted with a playoff spot.
They were in
the final 12 games of the season.
They were in 8th. They beat Calgary really bad, and then
but they'd played more games, so there was still kind of like, well, they're probably not going to get in, but at least it might be interesting. And then Aikens took over, and Dubnyk didn't play well, and he got traded for Matt Hendricks. So I didn't think, to me, this was Koskinen all the way.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see Dubnyk got criticized, but he wasn't as picked apart, I didn't think, as Koskinen. Like the whole story with him coming over from Europe and getting the extension, 3 or 4 days before Chiarelli got fired.
39 career games played when he got that extension.
Yeah. Yeah. So I to me, that's Koskinen all the way.
Yeah.
In comparison to Dubnyk.
And listen, Koskinen, I remember, and you probably do too, people would make the case like, oh, Koskinen's numbers are better than Mike Smith's and better than Talbot's at times. And I was like, yeah, but he lets in terrible goals at brutal times of the game. I remember vividly a game against the Canucks where I think Koskinen had 4 shots against and 4 goals against, and it was like midway through the first. And the night was going so bad for him that he tried to break his stick on the post, and it wouldn't break. Like,
I forgot about that.
Nothing went his way, and I was like, there are people that genuinely think this guy should be the starter.
He had some good stretches. I mean, he could play 7, 8, or 9 games and have, a 9-18 and go 7-1-1 or something like that. But for him, it was the low end, right?
Yeah,
that was the trouble.
He bottomed out.
Yeah, I think that he got more heat than Dubnyk for sure.
B-Dog via the nasty chat in regard to Dubnyk says, Dubnyk was the definition of a whipping boy, run out of town with some of the best numbers in franchise history.
I just don't think it lasted for long enough, B-Dog. I don't think he was really criticized until that year when he wound up getting traded. It wasn't year after year. It wasn't, oh, well, let's talk about Dubnyk even when he's not a story.
Exactly.
So that's why I don't pick Dubnyk. Did he get run out of town? I don't know if I would categorize him with that. Certainly fans got frustrated with him. I don't think he had the faith of his GM. I remember like Mac T was on Oilers Now. I think I was still producing it. Yeah, it would have been because then in 13-14 was the first year I started doing the games. And Bob asked Mac T, it's like, well, do you have a bona fide number 1 goaltender in Devon Dubnyk? And Mac T said, well, if you have to ask the question, I think that's your answer. And it's kind of like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like that's not a great vote of confidence for the guy. And then they, brought in a coach that had a terrible defensive system. And,
Oh my God.
and all that, and it wasn't a great roster to begin with. So I don't actually, I understand what you're saying, B-Dog. Like his numbers are pretty good, but that's what I'm saying. He wasn't, I don't recall anyway, him being picked on or ripped apart until that season. And then he got traded halfway through that season.
There were so many things to rip on in regard to that team that season.
Yeah.
And Mac T, again, I love Mac T. Anytime I see him, it's always like a delight to see him. He was great to deal with too, professionally. But the way he came in as GM and then just like started, well, he made a bunch of bold moves. I remember Laddie Schmid had signed an extension, but I think Mac T wasn't a huge Laddie Schmid fan, got him out of here.
Right.
And Laddie was a guy that guys on the team liked, and I think the fan base really liked. I think it's obvious they still like him. And then, I mean, Dubnyk was a victim of a poor team, bad coaching. There was a lot that happened that led to the downfall of Devon Dubnyk as an Oiler. And then he gets a little bit of confidence back the next year, reestablishes himself, and goes on to become I think he was a 3-time All-Star after that with the Minnesota Wild. By the way, his goalie coach with Minnesota was his goalie coach with the Oilers, Freddie Shabbat.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And people were like, goalie coach. I understand. And I'm not saying you can't change the goalie coach and the philosophy, and sometimes that does help. But I just remember Freddie getting scapegoated during the Dallas Aikens year.
Yeah.
And then I see Freddie pop up, and he's working with Devon Dubnyk again in Minnesota, and Doobie's having the best years of his career as an NHL starter. All right, Stu Skinner versus Jack Campbell. You made a comment to me where you said you would have actually had someone else.
I'm not even sure I would have put Campbell in this discussion because he wasn't here very long.
No,
and it never clicked with him. I mean, he had brief times he shone, and he did have that personal 9-game winning streak,
right?
That 1 year.
That was it.
Yeah. But I just think it was so. I mean, I'm not saying he didn't get criticized and picked on for sure.
Well, he was
but
awful.
he just never grabbed the job. So that's why I'm like, was Campbell really a whipping boy, or was it just kind of like, okay, he's not good enough,
He was a lemon.
Skinner's going to get to play.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't even know if I would put him in the vote. I mean, I guess you'd have to go back. I mean, these are all goalies of the last 15 years.
Yep.
I guess maybe you'd have to go. I don't even know who you'd have to go back to.
Tommy Salo was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, Ty Conklin. Ty Conklin was briefly the team starter after the Salo era. Obviously, in 05-06, kind of there was that 3-headed goalie monster with him, Mike Morrison, and UC Markkanen.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they were and then before they got Dwayne Rollison, they were kind of rotating who would back up between Markkanen and Conklin, and it happened to be Conklin's game in Game 1 of the Cup final.
Yeah,
and he was breaking in Dwayne Rollison's pads.
Right.
And then they had the confusion behind the net with Jason Smith, and that led to the downfall of the Oilers in Game 1.
Yeah. So to me, Skinner's been much more of a lightning rod than Campbell ever was, and obviously Skinner won that category. Yeah.
All right. Gong Show says Tommy's breakdown of Koskinen's game could just as easily be read as an assessment of Stuart Skinner, right down to the strengths and weaknesses.
No, I agree with that. I think that's what I've been saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just going to say, I think Skinner can clean it up, and I have more hope for Stu Skinner than I did ever with Mikko Koskinen, just because of age and experience thus far, where Skinner has potential still, and Koskinen had come in at 30 or 31.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, he isn't really going to get any better.
That's the thing for me too, because and it's, you're right. The same thing I said about Koskinen can apply to Skinner, and I've said it about Skinner. Skinner's high end is quite good.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is why Skinner truly is a whipping boy, because some people ignore his good games. And that, to me, that's the definition of a whipping boy, where you get blamed even when it's not your fault. And even if you might be struggling, you don't get credit for your good games. Mm-hmm. Look, my hope for Skinner last year was that he could have been .905 save percentage, be in that range. And he was .896. And in the play, but then in the playoffs, he's brilliant at first. And then maybe not so good, and then a couple good games, and then against Florida it kind of all went bad the last 3 games for everybody. But I do agree with you, Tom. The reason, I get it, and people are really eager to shoot holes in what we're saying sometimes.
That's fine.
I'm just going to explain it.
That's why we do this.
The reason I say similar things about Koskinen and Skinner, but then assess them differently in terms of their perhaps medium to long-term future, is because of the age. Mm-hmm. And because of Skinner being drafted by the Oilers. And that's someone you hope they can stick with and become, a long-term goaltender with the team.
Yep.
That's why, it's like, well, why, it's like, oh, hey, Reed, you never said, well, Koskinen could keep getting multiple chances or whatever. I probably did, because I think players do deserve chances, but it's different stages of their careers. Yeah. And different levels of commitment the team that showed to them in terms of where they drafted them. But I agree. I do think it's the same for both goalies. The high end for Koskinen and the high end for Skinner was actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. It's the low end is too low. Now, I think with Koskinen, I didn't have a lot of hope that was going to get better because of his age. With Skinner, I'm hoping, and this might be a make or break year for him, that maybe it does get a little better. I think. Bobrovsky's one of the best goalies in the league, but look at how he plays, right? Like, his high end is very good. And yeah, he has games he might give up 4 goals, 5. Florida loses 5-3, mm-hmm. And you're like, well,
would have liked to save in the second period.
He let in too many, but he didn't get pulled. Yeah. Or he didn't. I guess the Oilers chased him in Game 4 last year of the Cup final. But generally, it's like, okay, Bobrovsky wasn't the reason they won tonight, but he wasn't exactly the reason they lost. He's sort of, a bad night for Bobrovsky is sort of an average goaltending night, and it wasn't quite good enough. But
it took him time to get there too. By the way.
True.
He wasn't great in Philly,
right? Whereas some nights with Skinner, it's like, man, oh man, like, it's halfway through the second period, and the Oilers are losing 4-2, and he's allowed 4 goals on 17 shots, and maybe they weren't his fault, but you need him to make a save to keep them in the game.
You know what he did every now and then that I would just cringe at is he'd make a great save, and then 2 minutes later, like, a stinker would get by him.
Yeah,
and you're like,
well, wait a minute, how did you not stop that one after the other one? Yeah. So, look, it's and goaltending's such a weird position too. I mean,
a lot of it is here. You'll hear guys talk about the mental side of it, and maybe Stu Skinner can work on that. How much? I want to ask you this before we move on. How much of the hope for Stu Skinner has to do with the fact that really this past season, 24-25, in theory, should have been when he started to play more games and start to take over a little bit, right? Because he got thrust into that number 1 role because of how poorly Campbell played almost out of the gate.
Yeah.
And I think that's lost on us. I forgot about it for a while.
Yeah, but ultimately you got to perform.
This is true.
Pickard's turned out to be a pretty good help for Skinner as well.
Absolutely.
He had that great run in the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, in terms of the whipping boy, I don't even know if I would have put Campbell in that category.
Right. He just bottomed out.
I don't know who you could go back to. Who were the goaltenders?
Peter Ing.
Yeah. How many games did he play?
Not many. A couple of texts here. This one says Smeed was dealt, then they spent 10 years looking for a stable D-man who played a Smeed style. Koskinen needs to be top left alone. The biggest thing is Skinner is as good or better than a lot of others. We don't see all the stinkers other goalies have, but people see the grass on the other side, and it looks greener. Let's go to a few more here. Tube Sock says, most nights there are goals that aren't Skinner's fault, but they are always his problem. I'm going to get to this one. It says, 4 years ago, the Panthers couldn't pay someone to take goalie Bob off their hands. He wasn't even the starting goalie on the first cup run. It was Lyon.
Yeah,
And that's a
Lyon
good
started
point.
the first two games because he was really hot down the stretch.
Yep.
So was that a criticism of Bobrovsky, or was that Maurice thinking I'm going to get as much out of this hot new guy as I can,
That's
and then
good
I'll
coaching,
go to
I guess.
Bobrovsky? But yeah, that is crazy. Like I know, and that's one thing people have criticized Skinner, and this is the thing. Like when I respond to some of this stuff, and probably for you too, Tom, we're not defending a certain player. We're pointing out facts. And one of the things I've heard for 2024 was, well, how good can Skinner be? He got spelled off during the Vancouver series. Okay, fair comment. Cam Ward didn't start the series, didn't start the playoffs for Carolina
Marty
in
Gerber
2006. Pittsburgh in their back-to-back cups used Murray and Fleury.
Yep.
Bobrovsky didn't start. And then people are like, whoa, but Skinner's not as good as those guys. Quit moving the goalposts. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that there are teams who use two goalies and still go deep in the playoffs.
Well, Vegas used 5 their cup run year, didn't they? They had Laurent Brossoit.
They used 3 in the postseason.
They had Laurent Brossoit. They had Aiden Hill. They had Logan Thompson. They had...
But they all didn't play in the playoffs. Did they?
Okay, maybe it was that season. They had Robin Leonard that season.
That season they used quite a few goalies.
They had to use Yuri Patera. I remember that. Like they and Hill, I think, was the 3rd goalie going into the postseason because Laurent Brossoit and Jonathan Quick were the ones dressing. LB was the starter. LB gets hurt in that series against the Oilers. Quick mopped up a game, I believe. Do you recall that?
I can't remember.
And then they started Hill, and then he went on a nice run for 2.5 rounds.
Oh, yeah, I forgot Quick wound up on that team.
Yeah, he won a cup with them.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to read this text, and then we're going to move on to the defense region. Jack Campbell was Ken Holland's worst move by a mile. The dead cap space created from that buyout really hurt the Oilers last year, this year, and hopefully the cap goes up enough where it will have less impact. I'll say this for the 100th time, in my opinion, those buyouts and dead cap space from or have stood between the Oilers and a Stanley Cup way more than any player on the roster with a bad contract. Just my thoughts. I like that text. That one comes out of Saskatchewan. I like that text, and there's some good points there because dead cap space, generally the contenders, it seems like, and I look at Vegas, they avoid dead cap space. And the Oilers have been plagued by dead cap space now for about a decade. Benoit Pouliot was bought out 10 years ago.
Yeah. That long ago, eh?
Yeah. Who else
he was bought out?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And then they had dead cap space on James Neal. They had dead cap space on, well, now they have Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
They had dead cap space on Andre Sekera. They had dead cap space on Eric Gryba, for crying out loud. Like, they've basically always had dead cap space for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That's not good. You're handicapping yourself.
I got to acknowledge this. I believe my old buddy Sirius Gord is in the nasty chat.
Oh, hello, Sirius Gord.
Yeah. He says the issue with Skinner et al. Is in the past 25 years, perhaps one team won the cup without having a top 5 goalie.
That's
I would say Darcy Kemper with Colorado, not a top 5 goalie.
Antti Niemi.
I would say Niemi, a very good
Murray.
goalie, not a top 5 goalie. Murray. I mean, when they're playing and winning the cup, they look good.
Sure.
I would say there's a few goalies who wouldn't be considered top 5 year after year that have won the cup.
Yeah.
But I understand his point. You know, usually a solid goaltending is a backbone of a team.
Right. Like Corey Crawford to you, is that a
Well, he
top
was on a Canadian Olympic team.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. And I mean, Hill was on the Canadian Four Nations team.
He was the backup.
So it's pretty good. But yeah, I understand the point. I think we can quibble about top 5, top 10, top 15.
And that's subjective, obviously.
Yeah. But that's an interesting debate.
Yeah.
But I think what he's saying is, I'm going to read Gord's mind here because I've dealt with him enough in the past that I think I know how he's thinking. First of all, he loves coming at me and trying to make me
one of those
trying to do whatever.
Gotcha.
But I think that, you know, if you're discussing your goaltending not being in the top tier, then can you call your team an actual Stanley Cup contender? I think that's probably the argument he's trying to make.
I see. This is the Oil Stream, Gazzola and Wilkins with you. We're inside the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studios here at EST. The Oil Stream presented by Boston Pizza. Okay, really quickly, Bouchard over Tom Poti. That one was close.
Should have been Poti.
Should have been Poti?
I think so.
Can you just remind everyone why Poti was such a whipping boy?
Well, I think from what I remember, it was, again, you're just hoping... You know, the 90s was kind of interesting, right? Because there was still that, like, well, we should be good every year. Well, Slats brought these guys in. Like, he made all these great moves in the 80s, so why aren't these guys as, you know, it's their fault. It's the players' fault that they're not doing as good. And I think Poti was a very good player. I guess wasn't overly physical, right? Sometimes would make mistakes with the puck. And I think he actually was getting booed on home ice quite a bit. So I think he's... As much as Bouchard takes, I think he was more of a whipping boy than Bouchard. I think, from my memory.
Poti 4 years, 3 2/3 as an Oiler. 21 points his rookie year, 35 his second year, 32 his third year, and then 17 in 55 his final year. Then he was dealt to Glenn Sather's New York Rangers, where he played for the next 5 seasons. Then went to the Washington Capitals, played 6 seasons there. 5 there, and wrapped things up in 2012, 2013. First year with the Oilers, 98, 99. All right, Darnell Nurse, Justin Schultz. Nurse wins that one in a landslide, 64.8 to 35.2 via Twitter on Dusty's X account.
Which one? The Nurse Schultz one?
Yeah.
See, and again, I would have voted for Schultz.
Really?
I would have voted for Schultz. 100%.
I think there was too much of an ask on Schultz right out of the gate.
Yes, but that doesn't still, whipping boy is whipping boy. He got it.
That's recency bias that
I think so as well. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so
I
as
think
well.
that's a fair argument. Schultz multi-cup winner with the Pittsburgh Penguins, rotating their goalies.
But again, like Rob and I used to talk about that all the time with Schultz. We would be like, well, what is he? And like Rob would be like, ideally, he's a second pairing defenseman 5-on-5 who runs the power play. And on the Oilers, he had to run the power play and play 24 minutes.
Which he was not ready
Which he was not capable of doing. And then plus further down the depth chart, I mean, you had guys that shouldn't have even been in the NHL.
That's correct.
And that made it even harder for Schultz.
Yep.
And people used to get mad at him too because he was a little bit like Bouchard, like didn't show a lot of emotion, like got scored on, just skated to the bench.
He was very calm.
Use this example all the time. Like we'd get calls complaining about Schultz. Why doesn't he show more emotion? And then we get calls complaining about Taylor Hall. Well, why is he such a baby slamming the door? Like I always say, when you don't win, you can't win.
No, that's
right?
true.
I mean, those teams just weren't very good. But I think I would have voted for Schultz again. But what do I know?
Oh, here's a good one. Abutsky makes a good point. Via the Nasty Chat says Poti got booed here, but not as much as Corey Cross. Yeah, Corey Cross came under fire, and he was good the first couple of years.
Like he did, and he was like, what did you expect from Corey?
He was a depth defenseman.
I know Corey a bit because he's from Lloyd, right?
Yeah.
So I used to interview him, and they had a golf tournament out there.
But he came in as a depth defenseman. That's all he ever really was. But I do kind of remember him taking a lot of heat, and it's like, you getting mad at Corey Cross now?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we're going to switch subjects. Obviously, the polling.
It was Sirius scored.
That was Sirius scored?
Yeah,
okay, good.
Yeah, it's good to hear from
Welcome, Sirius scored.
Yeah, I'm glad he's listening to us.
The whipping boy polls will continue when Dusty returns. He's back on Monday. Team Canada orientation camp, 4 Oilers invited. McDavid, Nugent-Hopkins, Bouchard, and Hyman. No Stu Skinner, just running back the 3 goalies that were on the team for the Four Nations face-off. That's Hill, Montembeault, and, of course, Jordan Binnington. We don't think Nugent-Hopkins is going to make this team. I think this was I would
say unlikely.
Yeah. But that's cool that they considered him and are bringing him to the camp.
Yeah.
McDavid is a lock, obviously.
Well, he's already on, right?
Yeah. Hyman.
I think Hyman has a shot.
So do I, actually. I was told Hyman was supposed to be on the Four Nations team.
Oh, he would have been if he would have been healthy.
The start of the season wasn't particularly strong for him.
I think, when I was looking at some projected rosters, I can't remember where because I was on a few different websites this morning. I like this guy. Like I always, my nickname for Vegas, the Miserable Bastards.
Yep.
He was always one of the leaders there. But Mark Stone, I thought was going to be great in the Four Nations face-off, and
Couldn't keep up.
didn't really impress me.
I think his body's letting him down. He's had so many brutal injuries, and he plays a tough grinding style and has for so long. Mark Stone is a hell of a hockey player.
Oh, yeah.
But your body
again, if we're talking
can only handle it for so long.
We're picking between the best of the
would
best.
you take Anthony Cirelli still? I would take Hagel, 100%.
Yeah, I would
Obviously.
take Hagel. I saw somebody mention Robert Thomas. That's an interesting pick to me. I've always kind of liked him. The player, not from Matchbox 20.
You didn't like Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20?
Yeah, it's interesting when you go down the roster, but I think Hyman has a shot just because, again, the work ethic and the versatility, and if he might be on McDavid's line.
Yeah.
I think Nuge is worth putting on the list. Okay, like what if Nuge is on a 100-point pace? I mean, he did have 100 points a few years ago.
Yep.
What if McDavid, Hyman, and Nugent Hopkins is one of the top 3 lines in the NHL? Do you just be like, okay, they're on the Olympic team together?
I don't.
Maybe that's why Nuge got invited.
I think he's a super long shot.
No, I think I agree. He'd be a longer shot than some of the other guys. But
can I say something that might offend some people, or they might like it? I don't know. What if I'm looking at Brad Marchand and I'm going, I don't know. And listen, he had a amazing postseason.
I think he's going to be on the team, Tom.
Yeah. What if age catches up to him with the Panthers this year? I don't think it will, but what if? Do you still have to have him there?
I think probably, unless he looks really overmatched. I mean, I'm looking at the players invited to the camp. I mean, Byfield's an interesting invite.
Mm-hmm.
Horvat, I don't think he'll make it.
I don't think Bedard. I think it's too early for Bedard. Same with Celebrini. I'd put Celebrini.
I don't know, man. Like I mean, eventually they have to give those guys a taste of it. I mean, Wilson's an interesting invite as well.
I like Verhaeghe being there. Tavares.
Was Tavares on the Four? He wasn't on Four Nations, was he?
I don't think so.
I already forgot the roster. Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for Nuge unless I'll just throw this out there as a what if. If that line is tearing it up, then maybe they think, okay, Connor, we're just going to keep your Oilers line, baby. Go win the gold medal.
How long? This is just an Oilers joke, but how long does that line actually get to stick together? Because they're always switching
during
it up.
the season?
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully a while.
But that's the thing.
Hopefully
is like
Draisaitl has good line mates.
Well, I know. I'm just teasing, but I'm just saying. So the orientation camp, I believe it gets going tomorrow. I know our friend Derek Van Dies from NHL.com is heading to Calgary tomorrow.
Is it already tomorrow? I thought it was August 28th and 29th.
Oh, is it that late? Okay, you know what it is? It's
August 26th to 28th.
It's the Aiden Hill, Stuart Skinner, Dustin Wolf. There's a charity golf tournament.
Oh, okay.
That's what DVD's going for. Okay.
Yeah, they wouldn't make guys come back from the cottage.
Not this early. Now, speaking of that,
yes.
Coming back from the cottage, or if you're in Western Canada, cabin. Captain skates begin for the Oilers at the end of the month.
Oh, you got them.
And they will be at the community rink.
You have the starting dates?
I do not have the starting dates. I'm assuming it'll be around that time.
It's maybe after Labor Day then.
Yeah. End of August. I'm told end of August the ice is going to be ready for the
guys want to go. Yeah,
if guys want to go.
Maybe some of the guys who maybe lived here all summer or back earlier.
Yeah, and that does happen.
But
you don't need Connor to be there for them to have.
I would
captain
think
skates.
McDavid and Draisaitl will join after Labor Day probably. As Tom has. Hey,
Excuse me.
Bless you, buddy.
Thank you. Bless you. Anyway, it's end of August for the captain skates. So in the next week or so, you'll start to see Oilers trickle back into town, the ones that don't keep it close to home in the offseason, and that's pretty much the majority of them. I know like Nugent Hopkins will pop in from time to time, but most of them do not live here in the offseason.
Who's Skinner's around, I assume?
Yeah.
Stu Skinner?
Yeah,
Did Ekholm stay this year? We don't even know.
I don't know.
He seemed very happy to stay that first summer. He was just like, I still think they went home to Sweden to
would assume as
visit
much.
for a bit, but it seemed like they spent a lot of time in Edmonton.
I could see them going home for a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't ask.
I think also his wife had a
out.
baby shortly after they came here too. I think that might have been part of it as well.
Yes.
Yeah, but he seemed all like gung-ho about living in Edmonton, and he's like, yeah, I don't care about snow. Like 4 seasons is what I had in Sweden. Like most guys don't say nothing about the weather, but he was just like, yeah, whatever.
I would. This is my guess, and I haven't asked him about this, and I don't even think I'd care to, but I wonder sometimes, like, because it's all Oilers all the time, even in the offseason. And if you're one of the few Oilers that's actually here, you are being bombarded. And people are very nice about it and respectful, but you can't turn it off.
Yeah,
that's what
they
I've
don't,
gathered.
like, let's face it, as much as we want as large an audience as possible, the players don't watch shows like these. I mean, maybe. But
it's nice to just go home and not talk about hockey for a little bit.
But they're not.
You get the itch. And
they're not. Well, I guess they will read some things about themselves.
Sure.
Or
they'll see something on.
Yeah. Like Darnell had said that one thing to Rashog this year. He's like, well, I guess we are tough enough, Ryan, or something like that.
Yeah.
But I guess they'll watch highlights and see themselves being talked about. I remember I've told this before. I remember Letestu told me once. He goes, I will listen to you and Rob driving home after a game unless I think it's going to be a lot of talk about me. So if he probably had a bad game, he's like, I don't need to hear it.
That's fair.
But he also grew up in northern Alberta and then knew me so he'd be like, oh, that's the guy I know on a station I'm familiar with.
You had him on last month, and it was very much cordial and friendly.
Yeah.
Him and I would always talk about video games. Him and I loved video games.
I didn't know
talk about video games all the time.
He's an incredibly down-to-earth guy.
Enjoy him very much, and his brother Lee, I've played summer hockey with and against, and he came out last year once or twice too. Great guy. Good hockey player too. Okay, we got to get to the numbers game brought to you by Play Alberta. Play Alberta is your home for online gaming excitement featuring casino games, live dealer action, lottery, instance, and sports betting. Now with the new Play Alberta app, you can take the fun with you anywhere. Download the app or sign up today at playalberta.ca. Use our promo codes. They've been refreshed.
Yeah, for August. And then I think there might be, well, I don't know if I can say.
There's a couple of new wrinkles happening in September, from my understanding. So be ready for that. Yeah. The numbers game, we'll go into, this is taking a broader look at the NHL, and I have this question for you. And Benny can jump in on this because Benny's getting ready to produce the EST Afternoons program, which I'm looking forward to hearing. How many teams will hit the century mark in points this upcoming season, boys? Last year, there were 9.
Oh, man. Ooh. So 9 out of 32.
Yeah.
So I think it's been as high as 11 or 12, hasn't it?
Too many points, Bettman points, loser points.
Yeah. That would, like, if there were to be 11 100-point teams, that would have to mean that there has to be some pretty bad teams.
Well, there were this past season.
Yep. And to be honest with you, I don't know if there's a team that's going to be like that bad next year. Like, I think San Jose is looking to improve next year. Like, Chicago could take a step. Like, I think those bottom end teams are taking those steps, and then it's the teams that like should come down are going to try very hard to stay up in the playoffs.
Yes.
So that's Pittsburgh, Boston. Rangers missed playoffs last year. Like, those teams are going to be looking to make playoffs again this year, even though I think some of them won't. I think 9 again is a very reasonable number. Do you want to go team by team?
No, we don't have time.
There were 11 in 23-24.
The 11. I'll name the 11.
Yeah,
from 23-24.
This is 24 or 25.
I thought you said there were 9.
Last year there were 9.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Were you saying there were 11 in 23?
The previous year.
Okay. Sorry. So last season, Jets at 116, Caps at 111, Golden Knights 110, Leafs 108, Stars 106, Kings 105, Lightning 102, Avs 102, Oil at 101, and that's it.
And Florida did not have 100 points.
They had 98. Yeah. Carolina had 99. Ottawa and Mini at 97.
Yeah, and Calgary at 96, don't forget.
As well as St. Louis.
Yeah. All right, St. Louis got in on a tiebreaker.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'll say 10. I mean, I think we're going to see it around 10 because of the Bettman points, and then there's usually some separation late in the year that sometimes the good teams beat up on the bad teams and bank a few more points. I'll say 10. 100 points is not what it used to be.
I know.
And then in the playoffs, who cares? Like the I didn't remember that Vegas had that many points. Like nine
it
more
all
than
gets
Edmonton.
a race. It all gets a race once you hit playoffs.
I didn't
Yeah.
know LA was 105.
Yeah.
I thought they were.
It was ahead of Edmonton. So
I know they were ahead of Edmonton, but I thought it was tighter, but evidently not. I'll say like 7 or 8 because I think San Jose, Chicago, certainly Nashville, even Philly. I think the Ducks will be better. I think the amount of easy games, quote unquote,
Are starting to.
will be less league wide. That's my theory.
Yeah.
What do you think, Benny?
I agree. That's
Oh yeah, you said 10. You said 10.
I'm going 10.
Or you said 9.
I said
You
9.
10.
Every year
I'll
I'm
say
9.
8.
Put me down for 10 every year.
one just under 1/3 of the league. I'll go 8.
Okay.
That's the numbers game brought to you by Play Alberta. We'll see what happens. It's always interesting. It's kind of neat to look at that. What else? Dustin Nielson says, why in Calgary? I'm assuming that has to do with Team Canada orientation camp.
Where the Olympic buildings are.
Yeah, I think that's still the home of Team
You got to
Canada.
remember what having
Or
the
Canada
Olympics
hockey.
meant for Calgary. Like all the facilities that they have, and they're the HQ for a lot of winter sports, aren't they?
Like
don't they
Hockey
still do the
Canada is
speed
based
skating
out of
there? Yeah.
is based out of Calgary,
Yeah.
and that wind sport where the Stingers lost unfortunately to the Surge yesterday. That is like the headquarters. It's part of their facilities that they use, and the COC's involved there.
Yeah.
So Calgary has kind of been the Olympic hub for decades now,
Yeah.
including Hockey Canada. So yeah. All right, boys. Reed Rick, what's coming up on the Reed Wilkins show with Jay Milne?
Well, we've been having so much fun this week, so we're going to take you into the weekend on a high note as well. Lots of talk about the Elks and Argos tonight. Jeff Hecht, local guy, former CFL safety, played for Winnipeg at the end of his career. He's awesome to talk to. He's going to join us in studio. We'll talk about Jay getting ready for his run. We're going to do Benny's blind rankings. It's just going to be great. Like, I'm just excited to do the show. This has been an awesome week for us.
Tell you what,
I think anyway. I'm biased, I guess.
it's a good to very good program. I'd say mostly very good to excellent, to be honest with you. Ben Thompson, what's coming up next on EST?
Yeah,
Afternoons?
EST Afternoons. It's going to be me, Matt Awanek, for filling in for Joaquin Gage and Hernan Salas. And yeah, so we're going to be talking, obviously, Elks Argos, hard to escape that in the show coming up. We got some NFL talk. We have a guest coming on to talk some NFL, and Matt's going to want to talk about some Premier League. We have a guest on for that as well. So, yeah, and then some Face of the Franchise has been a fun game that we've been playing.
I like Who Dis.
Yeah, Who Dis is fun. We don't have that today, but
Okay.
yeah, Face of the Franchise will return. I'm sure Reed Wilkins will give his opinion in the nasty chat like he always does, and it'll be good.
Yeah.
Looking
I
forward
agree
to
with
it.
Reed's opinion quite a bit. So
Stop
it's not
buttering
a
up
chirp.
to
It's
him.
not a chirp.
Stop kissing his. I'm just kidding. Bunch of beauties. Big thank you to everybody who watched, everybody who listened. We appreciate you very much. This has been the Oil Stream presented by Boston Pizza. For Reed, I'm Tom. Say thank you. We'll see you tonight on the sidelines. And then these boys are coming at you this afternoon right here on EST. Ciao for now.